Hey FLOSSTUBE, it's Leigh from Creative Leigh on Sunday the 3rd of August 2025 with FLOSSTUBE number 278, I think. Welcome back to my weekly YouTube channel about counted cross stitch. From the dreary day in Upper Hutt in the Wellington region of New Zealand. It's just, look, today. It's cold, it's a bit damp, perfect day to be inside. And I am very weary. Huge week. Some really long hours. We've been pushing really hard to get this last piece of this project over the line. We have a 7:15 meeting tonight where if the rest of the kind of just UAT testing in our pre-environment has gone okay this afternoon. I did a bit this morning, so I'm now doing a bit this afternoon. Then we'll be doing our final big release into production. And I will probably weep with joy. There's still some rats and mice and stuff to clean up on this project, but we've been pushing so hard to get this just over the line. Ideally by the end of July. What's today? I'd already said the date and I've already forgotten. 3rd, 4th, whatever it is. 3rd. I'm very tired. And then like my life might start to reach some sort of normality. That will be great because the work-life balance has definitely been really out of whack the last little while. And even this weekend I was cramming work meetings in between doing things because I had plans. You know, again, we expected to be live already, so but I must say thank you to my lovely friend Christine, who was very patient and gracious because she had invited me to stay with her last night, and she cooked me a lovely dinner, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but I've got a work call, and then I had another work call. So, and like the last work call was like, I don't even remember what time it was, like 8:30 till 10:30 or 9:30 till 10:30 last night. So I didn't get any stitching done. I took all my stitching out. But anyway, so yesterday, Saturday, I had one of the other people on the project was just doing some final testing. I'd done my lot and we divvied it up, and she was doing hers. And then we had a check-in. I had a lunch thing, a Wellington on the plate lunch thing in the city with my friend Sarah. I went to it's called Delightful Dumplings, I think, or Dumpling Delight. It was dumplings. It was a kind of tasting menu of different dumplings. It was good. It wasn't as good as it could have been, I think, but it was fine. And then I had a 2 p.m. call, so I sat in my car and took my 2 p.m. call, where we established there was still an issue that needed to be resolved. So then we agreed to meet at 7:15, I think. Then I tootled off and met Christine at Catherine from Country Stitch, met at her place. We had a poke around and like I fondled the silk as I'm wont to do. Catherine understands, and kind of picked out potentially a few Belle Soie colours that I've got a couple of Sampler Cove projects that I'm planning in the future. So did a bit of I'll have a look, you know, what I might need, but I didn't have any of the charts. I don't know how many skeins I might need. Thinking about, you know, sometimes starting the Sampler Cove flight that I picked up recently. I've got a tickle in my nose for my dad. Well, just because Dad was a pilot and blah, blah, blah. But I didn't have the chart with me. I don't know how many skeins I need, but I can order them from her anytime. So probably going to do that in Belle Soie. And then I've got a couple of others coming. My order from European Cross Stitch ever arrives. I've got 3 Sampler Cove charts in that. So I picked out some potential colours, but I don't know how many skeins or how many colours I need, 2 or 3, blah, blah, blah. So then went through Catherine's overdyed fabric samples so that I could pick a couple of colours to order in the next few months for my Rainbow Club Fabric of the Month Club. And then we sat and had a look at some of her lovely things, some of her kits, things that kitted up, and then headed back up the coast to where Christine's staying with her family, looking after her family's house and animals. And then she cooked me dinner. I joined my 7 p.m. call. We then had to defer it. Again, there was something that needed to be fixed, needed to be retested. We deferred the next call till whenever it was. Finally got it slammed into pre-production. And meanwhile, I'd bought a bottle of Prosecco, which I probably drank 2/3 of, and it went straight to my head. And then Christine poured me a couple of gins in succession, and I think she has quite a generous pour. Let's just say I wasn't actually very sober during that work call, and I certainly wasn't going to be wielding a needle. That would have meant drunk stitching, not good. That would have meant lots of frogging. So sat and had a chat, watched a bit of sort of pretended to watch a bit of TV, just caught up, and then I went to bed about midnight maybe. Then got up like 8, had a cup of tea, chatted with her while she was doing some stuff for a function she was going for. Then I drove back to Hutt, over around the hills, and had something to eat, did my testing, and then I did a tiny bit of stitching, but I just need to do this FLOSSTUBE. Apologies for last week. The FLOSSTUBE went up really late. You may recall, again, I had Christine here. I filmed it quite late. I was so tired last Sunday, and I was on the couch. I edited my video, and I was on the couch, and I was doing that noddy off thing. I'm like, I have to go to bed. So I went to bed, started uploading the video, I went to bed, and I was trying to keep an eye on it, and fell asleep. And I woke up at 2 a.m, it was still uploading. Like it timed out or whatever. And then I kind of refreshed it and stared at it and swore at it. Tried to keep an eye on it, woke up at 4 a.m, it was still uploading. And then I stayed awake and I watched it and just kept the screen active and everything, and then finally it went up. So I started uploading about 8 p.m, and it went up at like 4:30 a.m. So that's what it is. I'm gonna not do that. I'm gonna get this filmed, edit it, and get it up, and it should go up pretty early. But yeah, it was just, I don't know, the last few weeks have been a bit hard. Cup of tea. Why is that cold? I'm gonna go deal with this. Maybe I didn't boil the jug. Okay, one moment. I'm back. Okay, a minute in the microwave sorted that out. I must have, you can probably hear the jug boiling. I don't know why I put it back on. Or on. God. I think I boiled the jug earlier. Never made a cup of tea. Then I went to make a cup of tea. Thought I turned it on. Then went, oh, I must iron stuff. Then poured the cup of tea. And it was obviously only lukewarm. I don't know. Blame menopause brain. Whatever. Okay, so long week. Yay for that being over. Get this video up 100% early night. It won't be an early night because we've got the release. Oh, God, it should be done by 9 o'clock, hopefully, all going well. Okay, still early-ish night. God, I just want to get this in. Okay, let's talk about stitching stuff. I don't have anything to show you. Haven't been shopping. Nothing's arrived. My Tom and Lily should be here. Susie's got hers 4 days ago, but mine hasn't arrived. So probably this week. We seem to get them a week or two apart sometimes. So I don't know. They probably go on the same. Get processed at France, and then who knows what plane they end up on, right? They probably get mixed up in the mail. But yes, nothing new to show you, and I didn't pull any previous finishes for you, but I do have quite a bit of stitching. So huge week, I was doing 15-hour days, but anytime I had a little break, I did a bit of stitching. And it was like Friday, couldn't sleep. So even though I'm tired, and I was like at 4 o'clock, I'm like, well, I'm obviously awake. So I just got up and I did some stitching. So I had a start and a finish. So 3 hours before work. So it's been just, my body clock is all out, but I have managed to touch quite a few things. So yay, we'll show you those now, shall we? First up, I carried on with Rose Inspiration Quaker by Les Filles de Mimie. It's that one. This is the one that came out of the UFO closet last week because, you know, again, hate this fabric. It's not linen, it's a blend, the 40 count Mallow Zweigart, but I'm using my own conversion based on Stitch Palettes, Bed of Roses. Yeah. And this was one of my 50 of 50. So even though I hate the fabric, I decided, as per my diatribe last week, that I'm going to carry on, but I just have to stitch it when it's a sunny day. So if there's a sunny day and I'm at home at lunchtime and I can take a break, then I will stitch on it then when there's natural light. I'm not stitching on this under artificial light or at night. So I carried on. Here's where we're at. And I finished the little motif that I started last week. So this one up here, I had the flowers to put in, the birds, one of the dogs. So yeah, I think I maybe a part of one of the flowers, but I got that one in. Yay! I'm loving it. I love how it looks. I just hate the fabric. Hate the fabric. But sometimes you just got to take one for the team. So just a little bit of stitching on that. I think just one lunchtime, but it's okay. Chip away. What I will do. Then blast from the past. Sunrise came out for a bit of a play. And I'm over halfway now. Where is the halfway mark? Is it on the chart? Is it on the chart? Let's have a little look. Halfway is above. Oh yeah, it is. So halfway. Okay, cool. I know where halfway is. I'll show you where it is. So Sunrise by Rosewood Manor. This was a stash sample start from 23 on 35 count. This all called for. So 35 count Brigid linen from Fabrics by Stephanie, and using the Call for Weeks dye works. 2 strands over 2 on 32 count. So I started this in August, almost a year ago, 2 years ago. This fabric is very different from my normal fabric, but I love it. I think you can see it. I can't see it. Oh, there we go. That's where we're at. Halfway is the top of this row across here. That's halfway, so I'm above halfway. What have I stitched on? I hadn't pulled this out this year, I don't think, but basically I got everything above this line. That line was there, everything above that line I stitched. What? That's heaps. I know. So that big band, all of that, the sunrise in the middle. C'est magnifique. So love it. I am so happy with it. It's coming on so well. So yeah, above halfway now. Feel like I'm practically close to a finish. So that was kind of fun to work on that. So Friday morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, as I said, so the 1st of August was the start of this SAL, the Folk Embroidery's Quintessential Frisian Smalls SAL, where it's a 5-month project. The idea being you stitch one of these smalls every month, and then you learn a finishing technique, and then that you build on that through the thing. So the first month, so the idea is you start on, it's just, you know, because you can do it whenever you like, but you start on the 1st of August, then the 1st of September, 1st of October, 1st of November, and then the 1st of January. They're leaving December free so people can stitch on the Modern Folk Embroidery Evertote Roxy collab Christmas box. So I kitted mine up just from stash, some 40 count linen dyed by me. I'm questioning whether it's 40 count, it might even be 36, but I'm pretty sure I got it out of a bag saying 40 count. And an old dye lots of 902 DMC, and I started on the 1st. I did hope to get it finished this weekend, but I haven't been home and I'm just too tired. But each month Jacob's releasing finishing videos. The pamphlet has very good instructions on how to finish it. So the first one was this, I haven't got the cover, called the Peacock Pinkeep. The Peacock Pinkeep. And there's a couple of alphabet, the booklet is wonderful. It has all these finishing instructions. It has history about the Frisian designs. It has finishing information. It has other little motifs and mini samplers and stuff. So it's got heaps of stuff. It's a really lovely book. And there is mine. So the alphabet's upside down, so of course when you finish it you flip it up. I guess basically what he has is he has you finger pressing in the sides and then whip stitching it together. So I have to follow those instructions. I changed the date, so I think originally it says 1749 I think, and I just changed it to 1972, made up the 2, just that's my year of birth. And then my initials, I picked the big, sort of bold font that's in the booklet, and my initials LAM. So yeah, that was about three hours to do that, and about half an hour to get that in, maybe 40 minutes to get that in. So very happy with that. So that's the first one started. So that was, yeah, a start and finish. Starting a mini finish on the 1st. Then also the 1st is the kickoff of the Stash Sampler Starts for 2025 that the lovely Narissa of Narissa Stitching Lifestyle started doing a few years ago. I joined her in 2023 and I'm joining her again this year, where I aim to do a start on or around every Friday. There are 9 Fridays in August and September, kitted up samplers from my stash, and Narissa and our friend Judith and I all wanted to start Louisa Coulimore, a Bristol, my hands across the sea. Not the biggest Bristol, she's a reasonable sized Bristol, not as big as Harriet Salt, which Narissa's also stitching. It's amazing. Well, the alphabet's now just amazing, but I've started with this one. So we all started this on Friday. It's going to be my red thread a day project. And I'm stitching mine on 56 Grunard linen. That is from the Wee Linen Company. They do not dye anymore, or currently. And I'm using Gütermann silk number 46. And yeah, I got that started. So this again has to be under natural light, you know, extra magnification, because it's 56 count. And I've stitched, I haven't done today's stitching yet, and it's not that nice a day. But the next motif's really little because I've got these 2 done. So I'm just gonna, if I can get that little motif in, that'll be a thread. I'll just cut a shorter thread because it's a spool of silk, so it's not like I'm pulling 12 inches of whatever. So that's where I've got to on my 56 count. I've changed the book. It's because this will be personalised for me. I'm not stitching it as a reproduction. And this was in the chart, the Bible, and it was a little bit shorter. I added a couple of rows to add in Hamlet, sort of a nod to my my love of Shakespeare, the fact that I studied Shakespeare at uni. Hamlet was the first play that I saw live and cemented my love of, excuse me, wouldn't be a FLOSSTUBE without me sneezing. But it's, yeah, the Hamlet, seen Hamlet live my first year at uni when I was enrolled in my various English papers and to be a freaking, you know, meant to be a school teacher, but ugh, kids. And we weren't doing Shakespeare till the second half of the year, but there was a play up in Auckland, so anyone who wanted to go, we paid for, you know, we got bussed up to Auckland from Hamilton, where I went to uni, which was about, I don't know, an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to get there. And we went to a play at a theatre in Auckland that it's been knocked down many years ago now. And it was sort of a contemporary production of Hamlet, and there were heaps of people in it that were quite well-known New Zealand actors. People who know Shortland Street back in the day had like a whole bunch of Shortland Street actors in it. This is kind of before Shortland Street. Oh, when did Shortland Street start? 92? My last year at uni? When did Shortland Street start? But they were well known in New Zealand TV. There was a couple of actors that were in, oh my gosh, what's that one that was the PR company with Lisa, I'm so bad with names. I'm completely gone. If I remember, it's up on the screen. If I don't remember, it's not up on the screen. But shoulder pads, the Kiwis of my age are gonna know. Lisa Chappelle was in it, and Iona Rogers. You know what I mean? The one with the about the PA company. Huge shoulder pads, real 80s. Anyway, a bunch of those actors, of course male, because it's Shakespeare, they don't really do, you know, porophilia. But it was this really modern, oh my God, I'm like going on and on. But stitching's meaningful to me. Sometimes it's not. But freaking hell, that's when I learned Shakespeare it's an oral thing. You have to say it out loud. From that day on, I read all of my Shakespeare out loud, went out into a field, sat under a willow tree or what have you, and I literally read all of my Shakespeare and all of my other plays. I didn't just do Shakespeare, but all of my 16th, 17th century poetry, plays, sonnets and shit. I read them all out loud, because you need to hear the cadence of the lyricism behind the words. They're meant to be read out loud. They're not meant to be read quietly in the room. So that's way more meaningful for me than the Bible is. So it was Friday. Good day on Friday. It could have been warmer. And then Friday night, Friday evening, whatever, I didn't work late on Friday. I did normal hours. Maybe I did this on Thursday night. I don't remember. But then I also did a little bit on Friday. But I picked up another blast from the past. Die Farben des Vivsters, or my German's fabulous. The Colours of Autumn by Dorothee Kandzi from Historiche Stickmuster. This was an oldie but a goodie. It stalled a little because there's so much white. White on white is not my favourite thing to stitch, but this is on 35 count white Zweigart, a rare white project for me because I do not like stitching on white. But this needed to be on white. So I'm using almost all the called for AVAS Soie, a couple of substitutions to make it look more like the picture. And this was a Dunedin retreat start way back in May 2023. And I want to finish it this year. So where did I get to? Where are we? Here's the piece. So we've got 4 of 6 rows done. And basically I finished, these 2 were partially started. There is a little bit of white above the line where it just made sense to do a couple of stitches and stuff. It is definitely more visible, the white, because there's some white up here as well. in person, but I appreciate that on screen it might look like absolutely nothing's there. But yeah, these two, this pale blue and this pale lavender one and all the white. I've kind of got myself into a bit of a routine with it, with stitching, you know, some of the white, and then when I change the thread, then pick up the colour, then pick it. So just sort of working my way across. So 2 more rows to go. And they are all very white heavy. But I do like it. I just want to finish. So that's a goal for the next couple of months, is chip away at that one. Why do I drop stuff? Okay, and last but certainly no means least, it's a new month. I don't want to get behind. So yesterday I picked up Procession of Princesses. This is one of my leap year SAL pieces. So this is from Vivsters. This is on 20 count ivory linen from, 20 count 20 count Ivory Aida from Zweigart using the chartered DMC. And I got my August goal in. I did about 700 and something stitches yesterday morning before I had to head off into town, and then I got the other 1,000 odd just this when I got home. I got 1,739 stitches in, which has taken me 40 over my target for the end of August. So I'm on 30,640. So that's my goal was 36. My goal was 30,600, and I'm on 30,640. So at some stage I'll pick up Women in Profile, get that in. And what did we work on? Let's show you where we're at with this. A nice bright one to finish off the day. That's where we're at. And what I did is I filled in a lot of this lady's gown. So in this section here, I had the, what's a little tricky to see is there's, oh, you can see here, these little crosses, they're in there, but doing the fill-in, it gives a weird sort of, you sort of can see the shadow of those slightly lighter, they're lighter? Yeah, they're lighter. You can see the shadow of those lighter sort of patterns like this, but it's very, very, very subtle. So I filled all of that in with 991 or whatever it is. So that just did all the fill in of this one. And that was the 1,739 stitches. And I was going to keep going. I thought, nah, stop. So there is still some more of this. So there's a little bit more of her other shoulder up to here. And then this piece here is like more of that one down there. So that kind of, that has to come up here yet. So yeah, her shoulder comes down here. So there's a little bit more of this pattern here to go in here. But next time I'll probably get that done and a little bit of something else. And that will be one dress done. I might even get the rest of her head drawn in. So that's her hair and her face in there. So I love it. Good to get one lady in, one princess. That's it. There's quite a lot. So I don't know how I got so much stitching done, given that I worked a lot. Like by Wednesday, you know, Monday to Wednesday, I'd done 45 hours. And then did another long day on Thursday. It wasn't a 15-hour day on Thursday. And then Friday was a normal day. But then there was, you know, quite a bit yesterday and then some today. So, but the end is nigh with those extra hours. So, hallelujah. I'm going to wrap it up there, and as I said, going to sit down, get it edited and get it up. I'm not going to leave it till 7 o'clock tonight, especially since it's 7 o'clock tonight. I think at 7 o'clock I've got a meeting, hopefully to get the workflow into production, and then we move into close down for this freaking project, and I cannot wait. It has been ridiculously long. Thanks for coming along. Thanks in anticipation of lovely comments, and I do appreciate you all. Hopefully not too much to edit out of this, just me going and microwaving my cup of tea and then a sneeze. Okay, I do, yeah, I'm looking forward to an early night. I will leave you here and go edit this video. Take care, and as always, don't let your needles rust. Ciao.